Hi, this is Jeannie. Welcome to Cakes and Aprons. Today we are going to go back to the 1930s to make the caramel cake with a caramel frosting. This recipe was given to me by somebody we call Aunt Dot. Dot is as sweet as she is beautiful, and I'm so honored to make this recipe. I love her. She was born in 1931 in rural Mississippi. Her mother made this caramel frosting, and Dot grew up watching her mother make it. Her mother, being a young wife and mom in the early 1930s, got help from some neighbors, her parents' friends. It was these neighbors who Dot believes taught her mother the recipe, and she has been making it ever since. The recipe was told to me verbally, but I got it. Now I can share it with you and pass down the recipe. In the 1930s, many women wore the crossback apron. This style was slipped on through the cross strings and sometimes had no other ties. Because of this, it was comfortable and never needed adjusting, provided it was made to fit to the person wearing it. So you can see these lovely ladies all wearing their crossback aprons in the 1930s. So what was it like during the 1930s when Dot's mom made this cake? Well, in the 1930s, I'm sure they were happy to be sitting around the table with family and loved ones and give thanks. Also, this was the time of the Great Depression, so they were, I'm sure, extra thankful for anything that was able to be at their table. The Macy's parade was going strong. However, this was not broadcast, and many people did not have televisions, but they did have radios. Radios were at their golden age during this time period. Certain radio shows were advertised, and families would gather around the radio at certain times to be able to listen to their favorite shows. Also, you could join your friends at a local bar or diner to listen to the fights or other sports that were happening. Of course, if you had good reception, you could take your radio on a picnic. There were many radio shows that were popular in the 1930s, and you'd be surprised that a lot of the themes and ideas of radio shows really influenced what we still watch today. So there was a variety show called the Rudy Valley Show. It was the most popular. It was radio's first big variety show with musical acts and comedy. Sound familiar? There was also a true crime radio show that after a few years turned into Unsolved Mystery Show.
Unsolved Mysteries. Character names in some of these true unsolved mysteries have been changed. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A remarkable and somewhat ghastly piece of fiction written by the famous Robert Louis Stevenson. Fantastic but utterly impossible, you say. Fantastic, yes. Ghastly, yes. But impossible? No. For a Jekyll and Hyde complex was the answer to the crimes which horrified and terrified London in the late 80s. The famous Jack the Ripper murders.
And those who are interested in arts and culture, you had the Palmolive Beauty Box Theater Show, which was a radio program that featured an operetta or a musical each week.
The Palmolive Beauty Box Theater, starring lovely Jessica Dragonette with Charles Coleman, Palmolive's tenor, the Beauty Box Orchestra, directed by Al Goodman, and the Palmolive Chorus. Presented every Wednesday by the makers of Palmolive, the beauty soap made with olive oil.
There were popular shows for children as well, including cowboy shows, such as The Lone Ranger and Roy Rogers. However, my favorite radio show from the 1930s is The Cinnamon Bear, which aired in 1937, right after Thanksgiving. It continued to air all throughout the 1940s between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It is a story that's sort of like Raggedy Ann and Andy or the Toy Story. Think of a toy coming to life, specifically a Christmas ornament, the Cinnamon Bear, Patio's Cinnamon Bear, who lost his silver star, and it featured child actors such as the beautiful Barbara Jean Wong.
And here's the Cinnamon Bear.
The Cinnamon Bear takes two young children, a brother and a sister, to an enchanting world of Maybeland, where they embark on a magical quest to find their silver star. I'm sure after listening to a fantastic radio show, the family was ready to enjoy some caramel cake. So let's get to it. The first thing you will need is a candy thermometer. I highly suggest this. It makes the cooking of the frosting a lot easier. For the cake, you will need Duncan Hines Butter Golden Cake Mix, water, 3 eggs at room temperature, and some butter. Just follow the recipe on the back of the box. I also added a half a cup of sour cream to the cake mix. I think that makes it a little bit more moist and gives it extra flavor. For the frosting, you will need 1 can of evaporated milk. That's 1.5 cups of evaporated milk. Dot suggested PET evaporated milk, but you may get any kind you'd like. Also, you'll need 1.5 sticks of butter and 2 cups of sugar. Next, you will follow the cake mix instructions according to directions. Remember, I did add a half of a cup of sour cream. I really like that. And you can see that mine ended up very golden and bouncy. Actually, you'll make sure that when you take them out of the oven, you can stick a thin knife or a toothpick in the center, make sure it comes out clean. And now for the frosting. Here I am the first time I did it. I tried 3 times before I got it right. Hi! Little did I know here that I would be trying this 3 times. I was so confident at the beginning. I thought I could get it right the first time. What you do is you put a stick and a half of butter in the pan. As soon as it melts, you add your 2 cups of sugar and you slowly stir. In about 3 to 8 minutes, you will see it turning a tan brown. But did I stop there? Oh no, I kept going. I wanted it to get like a dark caramel look like the caramel icing. You could see that was my husband's hand waving, no, stop. But did I listen? No, I didn't. I kept going. And I have to tell you that it wasn't until it was all done and I was about to frost the cake that I tasted it and it tasted burnt. You can't tell. It doesn't smell like it's burnt, but it will taste like it's burnt. So do not get it to this phase. Do not get it that dark. The second mistake I made was not cooking it long enough after you add the evaporated milk. You need to get it to the softball stage. If you don't do that, then your frosting will just keep sliding down your cake. It will never fully solidify. You can see here, I'm got really bored. So that's why I stopped. I even got to the point where I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put it on the cake and try it. I was going to tell you all, hey, I didn't get it perfectly right, but you can. But you can see here, I don't know if you can see it, but the frosting was really sticky, like really sticky, and it kept sliding down the side of the cake. So it just wasn't the right consistency. I decided I owed it to you all and to myself to start all over again and get it right. So here we go. So the final cake, the third time around went beautifully. It looked great, the consistency was right, and it tastes delicious. So here we go. I'm going to show you what to do to make this cake correctly. First, you will get out a pan. You can get out a big skillet or a pot. Make sure it has room for your frosting to grow because it will. After you put 1.5 sticks of butter and 2 cups of sugar slowly into the pan, you just keep mixing it and just stay on it. You can see already here it's starting to be a little bit brown around the edges, so it is almost done. That is it. You just want it to be a golden brown color, a light tan color. If you taste it, like get a spoon out, let it cool, it will taste like caramel. You'll know it's done. Don't go any further than this. Then slowly, very slowly pour in your 1.5 cups of pet milk. It will really grow. If you do it too fast, it'll completely spill out and over. So make sure you do it slowly. This is when patience comes in. You need to make sure that it gets to the softball, just right in the middle of the softball. It will take a while. It will no longer look foamy like this. It'll actually look like extremely thick brown gravy once it gets to the point. So now it has reduced down to about half its size in the pan, and it is very thick brown gravy, like so much that most of it sticks to a spoon when you lift it off. It'll drip down when you shake it, but really, really thick. Do you see that? Now Dot told me if you put a little bit on a plate and then you smooth it out with your fingers, it will feel all smooth, like just soft. You can mush it around with your fingers. And this is another way to see that it is all done. See that? It feels just smooth like glass. And now back to finishing it. So make sure you just glide it on your cake. It is so nice and smooth. When I go over it, it does that glass kind of feeling, and it just stays put. I'm so happy. We did it, y'all. We made our caramel cake. And now we get to try Dot's caramel cake. But most importantly, we get to try the caramel frosting. This is exactly how the frosting is supposed to be. That's good. Now I know why the family really wanted me to get this recipe. Thank you, Dot. All right, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope to see you next time on Cakes and Aprons. Bye-bye.